Alrighty, and we are live. We are live. So I'm just going to give it a few seconds for people to start logging in. And well, actually, the other way. Look who I have with me, everyone. It's Meena Dowlwani, one of my great, one of my great connections and friend who's here.
Cheerleaders.
Yeah, that's right. So put it in the comments, everyone. Let us know you can hear us and see us. Okay. Looks like we are definitely live. So put it in the comments. Everybody say hi to Meena and introduce yourself. Network with each other. That's the whole point of this as well. And we're gonna have a great session today with Meena, and Meena's gonna be sharing so much great information for the job seekers out there. Before I introduce Meena, I'm gonna be, again, I'll give it a few, probably a minute or two for people to start logging in. But if you're tuning in, make sure you hit like, say hi to Meena, say hi to me as well. Don't ignore me, and let us know all your job search questions as well. Let us know whatever job search questions you have. We will be answering that at some point of the conversation. And for those of you logging in from Facebook, by the way, thanks so much for tuning in. I don't want to miss out on the Facebook people. And for those of you tuning in from LinkedIn, and I do see some comments starting to come in here. So Ajayan says, hi Dean, hi Meena. Meena, can you see the comments as well?
uh, oh, there, yeah.
All right, perfect. Harsimran, hey Harsimran, thanks for tuning in. Harsimran says hi. Tahir says hi. Hey Tahir, Ahilan, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. Parth, thanks so much for your comment and watching. So we'll give it a few more seconds, folks, and I'm gonna get this thing started. But definitely let us know in the comments any of your job search questions. I'm here today again with the wonderful Meena Dowlwani, and we're going to be speaking job search tips, advice, and give you a realistic outlook about the current situation, how you can navigate the job search market. And this is for everyone. Look, whether you're a junior level, entry level person, or a student, or whether you're a senior level executive, we're here to help you and we'll be answering your questions. So I do see some more people tuning in. I see Simran saying, hi, Dean. Hi, Meena. Hey, how's it going? And Duka, I think is in as well. Yes, hi. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, put in the comments, guys. Let us know everyone is good with the sound and the audio and the video as well. And if you're watching the recording, feel free to put your questions in the comments as well. We'll, I'll do my best to get around to it after the session is ended. But without further ado, let's get this started. So again, I have with me the wonderful Meena Dowlwani. She is the CEO and founder of Destination CEO. So just to give everyone some background on Meena. So Meena is an award-winning job developer, a careers professor, a writer, a motivational speaker, and a CEO. Currently, Meena runs a social enterprise, which I mentioned, called Destination CEO, where she and her team of consultants help numerous job seekers with a non-traditional job search approach through collaborating with industry leaders, corporations, academic institutions, and nonprofit organizations. Meena also teaches and develops employment opportunities for the IT programs at Humber College. Side note, I was there as a visiting speaker as well. Awesome program. And Meena does a great job with that in terms of what she encourages in the students. Now her accolades include awards such as the Shirley Gaurauka Award, YMCA Award of Excellence, Top 10 Professor Award at Humber College, the President's Extra Mile Award for achieving 100% placement outcome for the bridging programs at Humber College, and was most recently nominated for the Women in Leadership Mentoring Leader Award in Toronto. What an amazing guest we have here today, folks. Make sure you make use of it. Get all your job search questions ready. Meena, thank you so much for your time and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dean. It's fun. It's great to be here, and I love hanging out with you. So, what a great opportunity to hang out with you and a bunch of your fans. So, hey, thanks for us.
Absolutely. I'm happy to have you here, Meena. And I think it's been I think the last time we met, like in person, was when I spoke to your students.
March 12th. And you know why I remember that date? It was just before the COVID lockdown.
Exactly. Yeah, because it was shortly after that they announced, okay, everyone's working from home and this and that. And there was a bit of a scare. Like I remember we were messaging each other asking, are you okay? Or you were asking me if I'm okay. Like
I know.
Games. But and you know what, folks, that shows you how quickly things can change. And part of what we're going to be speaking about today, myself and Meena, is adapting to this new situation that we're in. And so again, folks, any job search questions you have, put it in the comments. We'll be getting around to the questions close to the end. We're probably going to be spending around 20 minutes. I have some specific job search related questions I'm going to be asking Meena. We're going to go through that for about 20 25 minutes, and then 5 to 10 minutes we're going to spend on the Q&A. So and also, folks, just as a suggestion, if you have a question, try to be as specific as possible, just so that we have some context in regards to your question, maybe your personal situation, and Meena will be doing her best to answer and respond. So without further ado, and by the way, folks, make sure you hit like and comment, so that it's made visible to your network, and Meena's able to share her thoughts for as many people as possible who tune in, aside from those of you who are tuning in. So without further ado, Meena, let's get the conversation started, right? So now the first question I had is, you know, and I have a lot of job seekers reaching out to me. You probably see it a lot in terms of the mistakes people make. But what are some of the major mistakes that you see, right, that job seekers make in their job search? And I guess the second part of the question would be, how do job seekers correct those mistakes? So what would you say are the top things you're seeing in terms of mistakes?
One of the biggest thing that I've noticed that's happening with not just with Humber students or with Destination CEO participants, or in specific to a certain pocket, it's literally with everybody. It's stop and shut down. So yes, we have COVID, but that doesn't mean the world is shut down. Okay, maybe world is adjusting. As you know, there's a new norm, work from home. So world is adjusting, recruiters are adjusting, companies are adjusting. So the worst thing we can do right now is stop our job search and go and hide in our bubble. And the second thing is victimize and be in a negative zone. So, oh my God, this is COVID time and I'm not going to get a job, or I'm going to be struggling, and why should I put myself through it? I'm going to hide in my bubble and wait for things to get over. Well, guess what? You don't know. Nobody knows at this point when things are getting over, right?
That's right.
Slowly we are opening, but then you see the rise, and then politicians are saying, oh, the rise is so huge that we may just come down and lock down again. So
Yeah.
are you going to sit behind and wait for your bubble to burst? The other thing is sending out hundreds and hundreds of applications. So if I were to point at one thing, and I think, Dean, you say this in all your sessions, and I say it in all my sessions, and I think all the coaches, all the leaders are saying it: reach out. Human interaction. Sitting behind your computer and sending hundreds of applications, not receiving a response, means something is missing. Either the position is not the right position, either you're applying for fake positions, either you're you're not customizing your resume. Like, there are so many aspects that could be missing in that just online. I'm not saying don't apply. Please apply. There is one part of your day that needs to be customizing and applying for positions, but the other part of your day needs to be connecting with people, right? Reaching out. And if you can't do that, and I know everybody says job search is a full-time job. I guess I am one of the very few people that says job search is not a full-time job. Okay? As far as you dedicate 2 hours a day to do proper, constructive, focused job search, it should not be a full-time job. But yeah, if you want to just sit on a computer and send 100 applications, then nothing changes. It will be a full-time job, which is really not satisfying because you're not seeing results. What do you say?
Okay.
Did you feel the same way?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so from what you're saying, Meena, like, you're saying that you need to take an approach where you dedicate X number of time and all you do is, focus on your job search. Right. And that makes sense. And what I love is, I really love what you mentioned, your mistake number 3, right? You mentioned that human connection. And I think we were kind of chatting about this. Like, I give this advice all the time. You give this advice a lot. And I would say, Meena, this is probably the most debated piece of advice that I give, that people are so skeptical about taking. And I remember when I spoke with your students, I even encourage, just pick up the phone, call the recruiter, call the point of contact, introduce yourself. And I think one of your students was like, Dude, isn't that kind of weird?
Maybe if you've not done it,
Yeah,
yes, but
exactly.
you know,
Exactly. But I love those tips, Meena, and I think given the current situation we're in, it does require some creativity and thinking outside of the box. So great tips. And I guess while we're on the topic of COVID-19, which we've kind of touched on, but how does, if you can speak in more detail, like how has, like in you've mentioned some examples, but how has COVID-19 changed the way that people conduct their job search? And what are some other ways that job seekers can really adapt to it? Like aside from that human connection, like any other suggestions you have, Meena, of how people can adapt?
so let's address it. How has COVID changed job search,
Right.
right?
Okay.
Um, COVID has changed job search in terms of positions. So yes, there are fewer positions because companies are trying to figure out their finances. Recruiters are trying to figure out their onboarding uh, process because now it has to be virtual and they've never probably done it before, right? So they're adjusting to their policies, they're getting on new procedures. I mean, the whole thing about virtual networking.
Mhm.
Almost none of us did that because we always felt that the touchy feely was so important, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
And even when we started with the hybrid process, it was hybrid and events and networking needs to be in person. But guess what? Virtual coffee is the only way to get one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Virtual networking is the only way to do it. And when I started doing it, I had people from all over the world join in, which really cannot be possible when you're in this, when you're doing it face to face, right?
Hmm. Absolutely.
Um, so COVID effects, yes, the jobs are fewer, but they are there. Businesses are adapting. Certain businesses may not do as well as the others, but as you can see, essential workers, huge hike, right?
Hmm.
It's like desperation where doctors could not work in Canada. Now doctors are able to actually work in Canada in that specific contract, right?
Oh wow, amazing, interesting. I did not know that.
Oh yeah, yeah. They have a special program where international doctors can now work as doctors because there is such a huge shortage of
Wow. Okay.
doctors, medical professionals as well. Yes, where senior executives are the ones that are hit the hardest because a lot of companies have realized that now they have to look at their assets versus liabilities. And in some cases, high paying people are liabilities for many organizations. So
Wow.
they are restructuring at that level, which means they still have that budget, but now they have to split that budget, hiring more people, right? So
Right.
positions for contracts, position for consultancies, positions with recruiters, all of these are on a rise. This morning I was talking to one of my participants who has a very niche background, and he had started his job search just before COVID. This morning he shared with me that he got a job in his dream
Nice.
company with everything that he wanted. Um, it's going to take a little time before he gets started because it's a niche company or it's a niche position. But he still got it during COVID. And he's not the first one. I've had 4 participants during from Destination CEO that got jobs during this time.
Hmm.
So positions are out there. You just need to pick up on your hustle. Uh, be out there. Yes, so somewhere you have to reduce on your standard of pay, but um, don't stop because businesses need to still work.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like you mentioned, I mean, some essential services are there. These individuals are actually experiencing an increase in their pay, probably, right? Like right now, because of
Yeah.
the huge demand for their skill set.
They did experience the increase in pay. Certain services are still going to continue. Certain services, like Amazon, just announced that they're going to stop giving that premium pay for their workers as of next
Oh, okay.
month. So things are changing. But you know what's the beauty? Even if you're an essential worker, or you take up a job with companies like, Loblaws or Walmart, so are other professionals who are facing challenges. So you're
Mhm.
building your network. The focus needs to be, if you are going to take up a survival job, you should not stop your job search, and you should take it because you want to network,
Right.
right?
Right. Totally
So
understand.
these are some of the things that I would say, how COVID is affecting and how the digital gig economy is just picking up.
Okay, excellent. So, and so what I'm getting from what you're saying so far, Meena, is obviously, obviously things have changed, right? We have to adapt to it. There's now an online networking realm as an aspect to it, which we had to adapt to. And basically, what you're saying is, look, continue the job search because there's still opportunities out there. If you have to take a survival job, go ahead and do the survival job, but don't give up on your core skill set and your what you actually want to get into. Just do something, do whatever is needed to survive right now, but keep continuing your search and keep looking for the right opportunities and adapt to the current situation.
And accept that rejection is a part of life and it's going to happen.
Right.
That motivation that you talk about, that motivation is inside you. You need to keep that motivation up. And how you do it is very simple. Firstly, you need to acknowledge that there is a pandemic going out there.
Hmm.
It's going to be tough. You are going to face rejections, right?
Yeah.
It's okay. At least you know you're moving forward. At least you know that your application was actually viewed.
Yeah.
You may be able to reach out to the employer and say, I understand this has happened. Could you give me some feedback? Could you
Yeah.
tell me how I could do better? I want to just pop in a little story over here. I
Sure.
had a
Absolutely.
I had a student at Humber College. He graduated, and when we did the Destination CEO, the first pilot project, I sponsored 50 job seekers. He was one of my sponsored students. What happened was he wanted to work for a company. It's a very large tech company, health
Right.
tech. And he applied, he got rejected. He applied second time, he got rejected. And, he kept going back and said, how can I get better? How can I get better? He wasn't getting the response. So he's like, whatever, I'm going to keep applying. I'm going to keep pivoting. We have a bunch of mentors. So mentors helping him with, changing his resume. So, when you apply for 10 jobs and you don't receive a response, you want to know what's wrong with your resume first.
That's right.
As simple
Yeah.
as maybe you have the wrong email address. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
So,
That's right.
and he kept changing his resume. He kept focusing on building his skills. So he had his day planned out where a certain part of the day was job search, a certain part of the day was upgrade, and a certain part of the day was me time,
Hmm.
right? At the end of it, after 5 applications to the same company, he got a call, and he's actually working for that same company. He had
Amazing.
easily given up, but this time, how did he get a call? Because his resume was in the system and they had an urgent opening.
There you go. Amazing. What that now that's an amazing story. Thanks for sharing that, Meena. And you know what? I can share. I have stories like this as well, folks. And the point and something I always talk about. I've heard you talk about it as well, Meena. And just like you mentioned just now, like don't let the rejection get to you. A no now. If they say no today, a no today does not mean a no forever. And this is a great example of someone who kept applying, right, for like four, five times, and the fifth time, he got it. What if he had given up on the second time, or the third time, or the fourth time? Right, that
Mm-hmm.
would have been a shame, and now he's still working at the company. So great example. So moving onwards, Amina, now with regards to students and new graduates, now I get a lot of I get the question from new graduates and students a lot in terms of look, Dean, I'm a new graduate, I don't have the professional experience, and how do I present myself for a job if I don't have professional experience? What should I do? Now what I usually suggest is highlight their academic projects, stuff like that, but I know you work very extensively with the students and new grads as well at your end, Mina. What are your suggestions to the new graduates and the students on how they can accommodate for that lack of professional experience?
Ignore the fact that you don't have work experience. You do have professional experience. Accept the fact that you have abundance of skills. And guess what? Your abundance of skills are all recent, updated. So what
Yeah.
you have just graduated with is what the others that are working in the industry working towards. So what you bring is a huge value proposition for organizations. Leverage that. Talk about that. Be visible about that. Post videos, post pictures about the projects that you're working on.
That's
Start
right. Yeah.
using, those keywords, your technical skills, your um, project skills, your achievements in your school. Start tagging companies, start using those words as hashtags, and you will see, start joining groups, start commenting on specific groups. And this is one way of getting connected. Once you
Right.
get connected, right, then it's about talking about those projects like you were saying, Dean, right? But the
Yeah.
minute you accept, oh, you know what, I don't have enough experience, I don't have contacts, I'm going to just wait, jobs are not coming to you.
That's right. That's right. And you brought up such a great point about investing some time into developing their personal and professional brands as well. And this is something that I don't see too many new graduates or students doing on LinkedIn. And like I have a cousin, he's into he's a young guy. He's into like robotics or something like that. He's always telling me about robots and this, robot that, robot this. I'm like, dude, I don't understand what you're saying, but why don't you take this enthusiasm, go on LinkedIn, start developing your brand and start talking about it, share your projects, do some videos and stuff like that. And guess what? By the time you're graduated and you're working, you're gonna have such a strong brand established. And when you're a student, you can get away with so many things that I as a professional working person can't get away with, right? I'm sure when you're a student, if you reach out to a C-level executive, for example, I'm sure most of them would be very open to having a conversation, or even connecting, right? So I think that's great advice, Meena. And what you're saying is, don't focus on the fact that you don't have the experience, but leverage what you do have. So amazing advice. And by the way, folks, thanks to everyone putting in the comments. I'm not ignoring the comments or the questions. We're going to be getting around to those soon. Vishwesh, I see you've asked the question 3 times. No worries, my friend. We'll be getting around to your question shortly, and everyone else's questions. But again, folks, if anyone has questions, put in the comments. We're going to be getting into the Q&A shortly. But now moving on, Meena, again, with regards to students, another question I frequently get asked is, well, Dean, how do I get internships? Now, myself being a recruiter, my first response is always pick up the phone and call people, pick up the phone and call people. So everyone's like, Dean, you're always advising people to pick up the phone and call people. But what's your advice in regards to getting internships, Meena? Would it be primarily like applying online? What's the best approach, or is it a multi-prong approach that students should be taking?
So internships is quite unique because right now with COVID, and I'm going to talk about right now and then what other things are happening.
Right.
Internships are still happening, but because of COVID, a lot of companies have frozen their internships. They have
Ah,
rescinded the internships, right, until January next year. So that's a long time to wait. Um, Colleges where your internships are mandatory are now giving you the opportunity to work, to be freelance, to create projects and use that experience as your internships hours.
okay.
However, internships are still happening, except they're happening in a different matter. And how? So internships are for new grads, right? Certain large organizations like banks and big companies, they're still accepting interns, but very slow.
Mhm.
How they've converted internships are liabilities, right?
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
they're looking at assets. So they might be more open to hiring you on a short-term contract or
Mhm.
taking you as a paid intern from organizations like Career Edge.
Okay.
So, you need to stop looking at the word internship and start looking at contracts, start looking at junior positions. And all
Right.
organizations are open to it.
Okay, got it. Okay, great advice. Yeah, and for the students and new graduates watching, Hope you were paying attention to that, and that seems like some great advice. So make sure you make use of that. And now, before we get into the Q&A, Meena, I did want you to speak more about Destination CEO in terms of what you do, and a little bit more about the organization and what your goals are, what services and solutions you provide. So can you please tell us more about, what is Destination CEO, who can you help, and how can you help them?
Destination CEO is a social enterprise that has only one goal, and the goal is to help job seekers with their career journeys, right?
Right. Okay.
We have been under the umbrellas of numerous colleges, and we have worked with under the branding of various other organizations, nonprofits. But we now have a Destination CEO course, which is called a Career Accelerator. It used to be a career express bridging program specifically for newcomers and international students, but now we have a career accelerator program. And what we do, we've been offering it for the past 60 days, the months of April and May, absolutely free to the community. So we've been hosting events, master classes, we've been hosting these networking opportunities. We're doing live shows constantly. So we are Mondays with Meena live show, the last call in the evenings, which is on Wednesdays. So we've been doing a lot, and we've been bringing leaders to you. We've been bringing a lot of mentors to you and sharing everything. We have a new cohort starting on June 1st. So anybody that's interested to learn more about Destination CEO and the Career Accelerator program, please feel free to connect with me. We also have a free webinar happening this Saturday, which is really tomorrow, from 12 to 2. It's on Eventbrite, but you can come and check it out on Destination CEO's LinkedIn page. Connect with me if you would like. Check it on my profile. Just join us, right? We have a recruiter who is also a Destination CEO participant, who will be teaching how your resumes should look like in the applicant tracking, so ADS, right? Applicant tracking system, friendly resume. For recruiters, though, for agency recruiters. And what is the difference between what agency recruiters want versus what corporate recruiters want? So just join and connect with the community, and things happen. We have a group of mentors who are industry leaders who are connected with the Career Accelerator program, that spend time, that volunteer their time to guide you. So it's a group of 30 mentors right now that are volunteering to give away time, to give away guidance. What can I say? It's an amazing program. Yes.
Well, it's so good it left you speechless, right?
I know. If I don't stop.
Awesome. And this is for like anyone, whatever level of their career they're in, or is it for a specific type of a group, or Meena, or is it anyone, like any career level?
It's for everyone.
Everyone. Okay, perfect. So folks, those of you watching, feel free to check that out. And Meena, if possible, can you put the link for your LinkedIn profile or your website in the comments? I mean, that would be perfect. Or what I'll do is after the stream is over, I'll enter that into the comments myself at my end. But or if not, folks, look up Meena. She's very approachable, very friendly, very nice, and very knowledgeable in regards to the job search. Like, she gives a lot of great tips and advice, which I can identify with and that I agree with. And make sure you check out how she and her organization might be able to help all of you out. So without further ado, Meena, let's get into the questions, which is always very interesting part. So I have here. So folks, you feel free to put in the questions, the comments, any questions you have. So we're gonna start. So Tahir says, any tips for soon-to-be graduate students looking for a job after uni? So Tahir, I guess we have kind of gone over this, but Meena, anything you want to add to that in terms of advice?
Start hustling. And when I say hustle, like have a routine, have a structure. Decide on, pick 10 companies you want to work for. who are the people that are working in those companies, what kind of profiles do they normally hire when they're looking for people in your department or with your skill set. Start talking to those people. You may reach out to one person and they may not respond. Don't stop there. Reach out to a few people within that organization. But one thing, very, very important, there are hundreds of scams going on, and I want to mention this particular scam because I'm investigating it. There is a Google Canada recruiter that is on Google and on LinkedIn posting jobs, and she's specifically saying that she wants a specific format of a resume, and she gives a link to a Fiverr link, and when you click on the link, Fiverr, which is an organization that does freelance work for $5, they're charging $40 for that particular format. And students and new grads, so desperate, and I'm sorry I'm using this word, but desperately looking to work for Google, are actually paying. Please, when you see profiles like that, that is a scam. Don't do it. Don't apply for those positions. My students did it, got scammed, and now talking about it. So please, if Google wants to hire you, you apply based on what Google says, not what somebody has posted, taking you to a third party and asking you to pay. That is not the way Google will hire. I'm investigating it, and I have tagged Google, I have tweeted them, I have reached out to them. As soon as I receive a response, I will post it. So if you are connected with me, if you're following me, you should see the response. And if they don't respond, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick up the phone and call them.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
I'm a stalker at that.
yeah, no, that's amazing. But thanks for sharing that. Wow. So folks, like, you gotta understand, in the situation right now, a lot of you might be desperate. Don't let your emotions get in the way and cloud your powers of reason and logic. So make sure you look into that. Tahir, I hope that helped. Thanks for your question. We're going to move on to Shrikant. Has a bit of a lengthy question here. So Shrikant says, hi, Dean and Meena. I heard from my friends that from last couple of months, they're getting initial interview calls, but not moving forward with interviews or not getting any response from recruiters after interviews are done. Is it because of COVID impact or any other reason? So Shrikant, great question. I mean, there could be a few factors there, but anything you want to, I guess, mention about that, Meena?
Without getting into hot water with recruiters?
Hey, on my show, you can say whatever you want. No problem.
Guys, just like all of us who have jobs, we have a certain target to meet, right? And because companies will start hiring, they have asked recruiters to build their pipeline. Okay, so recruiters right now are connecting with job seekers and are more open to connecting with job seekers because right now they need to fill the pipeline, they need to collect the resumes, they need to interview you, they need to have everything ready before the market opens, and the market can open any minute. Right? So that's one of the reasons why recruiters are connecting with you, doing the initial screening and putting their comments and keeping you in their portfolio. So that when it comes, and if you did well, hopefully, they can reach out to you. If you didn't do well, chances are they may not reach out to you. But, I hope that you've learned from how you could be better, and by attending some of these workshops, and, just keep doing it. Remember not to sign anything unless and until there is something definite at the end of that contract. So just be a little mindful. That's all. There are also certain recruiters that are scamming. All right.
Yeah.
Please be mindful of those. A great way to find out. Okay. You know that there is an app that can literally put in 5-6 pictures together and create a new picture. Look at Google the recruiter. So how I found out about this whole Google Canada recruiter was because I looked at her profile. It looked really genuine. She shows that she's graduated from UFT. She's been working for Google Canada for 2 years. But when you go into the Google site, you don't find her. When you research, She does have a lot of connections, but she does not really have any other visibility. So you know it's fake. Please do some research. And if you're not sure, reach out to some of us. We're here to help
Yeah.
you. We don't charge you for helping you.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. So yeah, folks. I mean, keep a heads up, right? Keep your heads up. I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of scams going on right now because people want to take advantage of people in an emotional state right now. So, if something seems too good to be true, especially if that's the case, like it might very well be too good to be true. So, do your due diligence and research. I hope that helps, Shrikant. Now, another question we have here is from Shiva Kumar, and who says, "How to showcase employment gap after studies and PGWP processing time?"
Postgrad.
I have previous experience before studies.
So I have a structure on a resume, okay, and it is applicant tracking system friendly resume.
Okay.
But how I divide it, everybody has a gap, okay, and your gap, Shiv Kumar, is really it's your education and your postgrad work permit processing time. So that's not really a gap because that's showing that during the time from the time you finished your international experience to the time that you're looking for a job, you have education, you have to wait for the processing time, and guess what? You have COVID. So don't worry about that. The only thing I would talk about here is customizing your resume and showcasing your relevant experience. And your relevant experience does not need to be chronological as much as it needs to be relevant. All the other experience can have a separate section on your resume for other experience. So, hey, if you're free, join us for our workshop tomorrow. It's absolutely free, and learn how to do that. But don't worry about the gaps.
Awesome, amazing. Yeah, I would say definitely Shiva Kumar. Feel free to connect directly with Meena. Obviously, her what she's organizing in her workshop should be able to help you. But thanks for your question. We have some feedback here. Faisal says, "Hello, Dean and Meena. Great presentation as always. Always, thank you so much, Faisal." And so we have Vishvesh. So Vishvesh says, and I'll put the question up here. He wants to know about motivation. So he says, "How to stay motivated during your job search? Many times you feel dejected and feel like giving up. How to stay focused?" So, great question, Vishvesh. We have kind of answered this, but Meena, anything you want to add to that in terms of how to stay focused and motivated?
Vishwesh, yes, it is difficult to stay motivated because things are not going your way. All right. Accept that. It's okay. Sometimes it's okay not to do anything. I know that you were at the last call last night and we were talking about the job stress with Biju and Sina. And, we all said that motivation is inside you. Your focus needs to be what you want to achieve. Once you have that focus, put those, what do you call it, the blinders, right? Like the horse, the race horses, put those blinders.
Yes.
Nothing else should matter to you. All right. Your focus needs to be still clear that I am going to get that. I'm going to challenge you on this. Okay. I know you, so that's why I'm challenging you. I want you to go somewhere, take a piece of paper and write down, this is the date that I'm going to have my offer letter. So let's say that's June 30th. June 30th, I'm going to have my offer letter for this position and this salary. Okay? That's your focus. Second thing is hustle. Create your schedule. Morning, you're going to do this. Afternoon, you're going to do that. Evening, you're going to do this. Okay? Put in your me time. Very, very important. You don't put your me time, you're going to get burnt out. Okay? So morning, you're going to do your job applications. You're going to research. After you're finished with that, take a break, do a little stretch. Then go back to your computer and for an hour, focus on 2 companies, only 2, that you want to work at. Who works in those companies? What kind of people do they hire? Who are your common connections? Is there anybody from your network or from your second network that is working over there that you can probably reach out to and ask for an introduction? Do all of that research. And when you find somebody, find out why that, what is that person's career trajectory? Why does that person stand out? What is the common ground between you and that person? It could be as simple as that they graduated from the same college or university, or they have the same background, or they could be from the same religious group, or from your country, whatever, right? What is your value proposition? When you're reaching out, be authentic about it. Okay. Instead of reaching out to someone, say, how do I get my career started? Be very focused. Right? How do I get my career? This is my background. How do I get my career started as this in your organization? Because now they have a context to connect with you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just, like, I get so many messages, and Dean, I'm sure you get these messages too.
Absolutely.
Hi, how are you? I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Great, you're fine. Okay.
Yeah, now what? Now what?
Am I supposed to communicate like,
Yeah.
I am really busy. Tell me why you're reaching out, and I'll tell you if I can help you or not. If I cannot help you, based on how you've reached out to me, I might be able to coach you or direct you or refer you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But when it's just a hi, would love to connect with you. Sure, I connect with you.
Yeah, there
Then
you go.
what?
Yeah. Yeah. So what you're saying, Meena, be clear with your intention, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. And great advice. Yeah. And Vishwesh, I'm pretty sure that advice really helped you. And I really like what you said, Meena, about, writing it down on a piece of paper and putting it out there. But at the same time, you got to hustle, you got to put in the action as well. Because just writing it down, nothing's gonna happen. You have to do the work as well. So hope that helps, Vishwesh, and I wish you the best in your search. And sounds like you're already connected with Meena, so I'm sure that she'll be able to continue assisting you. So let's move on to I think we have one more question, and before we wrap it up, so just some feedback. Joe says, no, sorry, not yeah. Joe says that freelance is a good idea during the waiting period. Yeah, that's right, Joe. Yeah, we did kind of touch on that. And she also says communication is important, absolutely. And she also says international experience is acceptable here, for sure, Joe. Thanks for your comment. Meena, looks like you have a fan here. We have Stephanie. She says, "Woohoo! Go, Meena Dowlwani." All right, sounds good. All right, thanks for your comment, Stephanie, and thanks for tuning in. And Anna Clado says, "Thank you, Dina, Meena. No worries, Anna Clado. Thanks for tuning in." So the final question is from Sami Musa. So Sammy is asking, how long will you think work from home is mandatory for current working employees in the IT sector? So Sammy, I think I guess Meena touched on this before as well, and I mean it's kind of up in the air right now, right? Depending on how this thing unfolds. Any additional thoughts on that, Meena?
So yes, very specific thoughts actually. Shopify announced that they're going to be working from home as a permanent solution. Right. Fix Software, where my dear friend Dean Delpiche works as well, they announced that they're going to be working from home following the footsteps of Shopify. One of the large banks said that 75% of their people will be working from home. Why are companies going with the work from home model where before they were so against it? A, because it saves a lot of time. But more than anything, businesses, at the end of the day, they need to increase their bottom dollar. So imagine the amount of money that they're saving in infrastructure. So yeah, maybe they give you a startup allowance with your laptop and stuff. But at the end of the day, they don't have to pay rent. They don't have to pay a lot of overhead costs that they would normally occur during a regular hiring and a regular office time. So how long work from home? In the tech sector, it's looking like most companies are going to be working from home primarily and doing, period weekly check-ins and stuff. In other sectors, it's still debatable. But from what I hear, because of the rise that's happened, chances are you're working from home at least September or December. And Dean, what do you think? You've been talking to people?
Completely agree. That's pretty much like would be my estimate is probably anywhere until September to December, because this thing, like, it's not gonna go, everything's not gonna go get back to normal right away, folks.
This is the new norm.
Yeah. And even when it does, I mean, things are not going to be 100% the same way they were before. So thanks for your question, Sami. I hope that clears up some things. We did have one more final question, Meena, if you're okay with it, and it's from Unduka, who is asking, is it okay to look up the profile of would-be interviewers or relevant staff of the company you want to interview with? I mean, my response to that is, yeah, absolutely. There's no issue with doing that. So that should be completely fine, Unduka. Anything you want to add to that, Meena, or would you say that that's you're in agreement with that?
In fact, I would ask you to look at their
Yeah,
profiles. I would ask you to make notes, and I would ask you to mention it when you
yeah.
happen to have the opportunity to speak with them. I do it. I've never been turned away, or nobody ever thought I was creepy, like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
student
that's right.
said. Um, but no, definitely do it, because that shows that you took the initiative, you took the time to research the company and research the people. So
Absolutely.
most definitely, Duka, do it.
Totally agree with that. All right, so thanks so much for your question, Aduka. Hope that helps. Meena, thank you so much for your time. I learned so much, from hearing your thoughts and your perspective and your advice. Hope everyone watching got a lot of value out of it, folks. If you got value out of it, put it in the comments. Let Meena know. Let myself know, and let me know if you want Meena back on the show. I'm sure she has a lot more to say about the job search. So make sure you put in the comments. Make sure you hit like, and make sure you share with your network as well, so everyone else can benefit from this program. And if you and make sure those of you who are not connected to Meena, feel free to reach out to her. Meena, you're open to new connections on LinkedIn, or
Oh,
how?
I
What's the best
always
way?
love,
Okay.
I love new connections. Guys, come on. And we have, if you're still struggling with some of your questions, I do live shows as well. Mondays with Meena, it's at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But all of our shows, all of our webinars, master classes, they're recorded on Destination CEO's YouTube channel. So
Oh, amazing.
please go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to it, check it out so that you can learn from it. Mayuri did a fantastic class on resumes already for the community a couple months ago. So feel free to check it out. Feel free to check out our resources. All Dean and I are trying to do, and I think the entire community is trying to do, is to come together to help each other, to help everyone. Please make sure that you reach out. Don't be alone. Job search is a very, very lonely and tiresome, and yes, one of those awful places, awful jobs that puts us in a place which makes us doubt ourselves. And I've
Mm.
always said that the minute our focus, and I keep saying it because it is so true, scientifically saying this, okay? The minute our focus is on bad, negative stuff,
Yeah.
our emotions go to that, and the brain tells our body to feel a certain way. Okay, if
Hmm.
it's positive, you'll start feeling good and you'll have energy and you'll want to do stuff. If it's
Yeah.
negative, you'll start feeling low, you'll start feeling all kinds of aches and pains, and having physical and mental challenges. So please stop hurting that gift that you have gotten, this gift of
Hmm.
life, just because a job is only one aspect of your life. There is a lot more to it. Sometimes, like you just said, sometimes it's okay to do nothing. Just step back, take a break, and look at what have you been doing so far. What are the results it's gotten you? You're also strong, you're also brave. You've come, for international students and for newcomers, you've left the luxuries of life back wherever you came from, and you've decided to take on this journey. Okay, for job seekers in transition, you've achieved so much in life. What are you worried about? Somebody rejecting you? I mean, if somebody rejects you, what's the big deal? Please tell me that you've never rejected anybody. You have
Hmm.
too. You look at things, you have biases, you have your own opinions. So does everybody else. So stop focusing on the negatives. Please start focusing on the positives. And if you're ever low, I'm sure that between Dean and I, one of us is always live doing
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Exactly.
Reach
Yeah.
out to us. Join us. Give us some love. We miss you guys.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. And Meena wonderfully said. I think that pretty much wraps up, the whole state of things and how you job seekers should be handling things. So that being said, Meena, again, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you coming on the show. I'd love to have you on again, and thank you so much for everything you shared.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Have a great day.
You as well. Bye, everyone. Everyone, take care.
Bye. Take care.